Hi, welcome to the 14-day weather forecast. Things have turned more changeable in recent days and temperatures have dipped. Will that continue to be the case as we head through the next 2 weeks? Let's see. Now, this is the picture at 18 GMT on Tuesday the 24th of June. An Atlantic flow is covering all areas. It's bringing some showery spells of rain, mostly to the north and the west. As I run the sequence, that changeable theme remains in place. Further outbreaks of rain spread eastwards, southeastwards, and it could be quite windy at times too. But as the weekend approaches, another change starts to shape up. High pressure is building from the south, bringing an increasing chance of drier and warmer conditions, at least to southern regions, with the chance of rain becoming confined to the northwest. But there's uncertainty about how robust this area of high pressure is going to be. You can see on this particular computer model run, there is still a chance of showery rain pushing across all areas. So the trend as the weekend approaches is for more settled conditions to start spreading northwards, but just how entrenched they will become and how far northwards the settled area will push is open to debate at this stage. The upper air temperature and jet stream sequence helps to explain things quite well, or to illustrate them. You can see the UK inside the red circle. The mottled shaded area shows the track of the jet, and the oranges and reds are the very warm air. And those spread northwards at times, but the jet's never far away. It does move northwards, but then later on in the week it's slipping southwards once more. So quite a lot taking place. The potential, at least, for it to turn much warmer, especially in the south, but always a few question marks about the extent of that settled weather and just how far northwards it's going to spread. So let's see some of the day-to-day charts generated using data from the UKV model, the high-resolution one run by the Met Office. Forecast maximum temperatures on the left here for Wednesday afternoon, and the precipitation sequence there takes you through the day. And it's just worth keeping an eye on the southeastern corner here, because later on some very heavy showers are shown to develop. They're just clipping Kent and Essex perhaps, according to this computer model run, but they would bring the potential for some significant amounts of rain in those areas, and it has been very dry there recently. But with that said, other computer model runs are keeping those showers at bay. Temperatures warm or very warm at this point in England and Wales, where sunny periods develop, maybe up to 27 degrees. Even in Scotland and Northern Ireland, not too bad, 19 or 20. Thursday, you can see those heavy showers there, potentially thundery showers affecting the southeastern corner and East Anglia for a time before clearing away. And in the west and the north, more persistent outbreaks of rain, although they are quite patchy in nature. So you can see the impact on temperatures. Central and eastern England, it's warm into the mid-20s, but as you head northwards and westwards with that cloud and rain, it's quite a lot cooler, particularly there in Northern Ireland and western Scotland. By Friday, some patchy rain is affecting the south, the southwest. It's clearing. There are some showers in the north, and temperatures up to about 23 to 25 across England. A little bit cooler there in Wales, Northern Ireland, and northwestern Scotland especially. Then as we go into the weekend, the temperatures are now rising as a high pressure builds from the south. 28, 29 degrees there in central and eastern England, so pushing up towards 30 once more. It's cooler in the northwest, but not too bad, 19 or 20 in Scotland and Northern Ireland, or at least eastern Scotland. There are some showers up there in Scotland as well, and early in the day some patchy rain is being shown in the south. That's clearing away, and the temperatures are rising quite quickly. Now, Sunday and Monday, beyond the range of the UKV model, so these charts generated off the GFS, and that's showing very warm or hot conditions in southern and central Britain. 32 degrees there on Sunday, 33 in the southeast on Monday. Significantly cooler though in the north, particularly on Monday. You can see temperatures dipping in Northern Ireland from 23 to 18, and in Scotland going down from 20 to about 18. And there is a chance of rain in those areas, or at least showery spells of rain. But as I've been saying, some uncertainty about the influence of high pressure at this stage. But at least in southern and central Britain, there is the likelihood of it being very warm or hot. The Morgreps G ensemble plot showing forecast temperatures at the ground level for London helps to explain things as well. Through the first few days, all the lines are closely packed together, so the individual runs within the ensemble all showing very similar maximum temperatures into the mid-20s. It's from around the 29th onwards that the uncertainty starts to increase. You can see the individual lines are diverging as the runs are forecast in different maximum temperatures, but with that said, quite a few of them are going up to or just a little bit above 30 Celsius. And I think, from my experience at least, Morgreps G has a tendency just to maybe undershoot temperatures a little bit. So it wouldn't be at all surprising if towards the end of the week, through the weekend, into the early part of next week, temperatures in the London area and in other parts of the south do climb or exceed 30 degrees. With the rather mixed conditions, how much rain is likely? You can see here, once more, it's a chart for London. Through the first few days, there is some rain showing. Those showers, which are in the southeastern corner, probably not reaching the London area. But despite that, there are a number of rain spikes there through the first few days. It's then turning dry, the rain spikes falling away. Towards the end there, 30th of June, 1st of July, one or two start to return, and in particular, one of them is clearly going for a thundery, plumy type downpour scenario. That's a huge rain spike, but it's only one of the runs out of the 17, I think it is, or 18, which are plotted here, that is going for that type of development. Rainfall in more general terms. Forecast accumulations here for days 0 to 5 from the ECM and GFS models. You can see the ECM on the left has some relatively high totals in the far southeast and eastern parts of East Anglia, and I think that in large part is due to those showers which some of the computer model runs have been showing affecting those areas. Conversely, the GFS on the right is keeping those heavy showers over northern France. So uncertainty about how much rain there will be in the southeast and East Anglia, but in more general terms, the highest rain totals are in the northwest of the UK and maybe Wales as well. Both of these models agree on that. You can see up to some of the green shading there in Western Scotland indicating 40 to 80 or even 90 millimetres of rain through the first 5 days. Moving forwards to the 10-day charts. So through the day 5 to day 10 part of the forecast period, rain has continued falling at times in the north, particularly Western Scotland. You can see the orange shading there indicating up to around about 150 millimetres through the 10-day period as a whole. But in parts of the south and the southeast, East Anglia, those totals have not budged significantly. So lots of dry weather, according to these computer model runs, continuing in the south of England as well as East Anglia, possibly central counties too. So in more general terms, what the deterministic models show as we head towards the end of the first week. Here's the GFS on Tuesday, the 1st of July. There's a very warm or hot plume of air moving up from southern Europe, and at this stage it's just clipping the southeastern corner. It's been pushed away into continental Europe. Cooler air returning. The Canadian model has that hot air slightly further west and north, so temperatures across the UK would probably be higher through Tuesday. The German icon also shunting it away into continental Europe, rather like the GFS. The European ECM model, the plume of warmth is a little bit further west at this stage and further north, so you've got very warm air mass over much of the United Kingdom, but particularly central and eastern counties of England. The artificial intelligence version of the same model, similar scenario, the very warm air there in the east, much cooler air in the northwest associated with an area of low pressure. And finally, the UK Met Office Global, it's got the area of low pressure air just to the west, the northwest of Scotland, and the very warm air moving up across France and still affecting southern, central and eastern parts of the UK at this point. So taking them all together, the details at this stage are uncertain. Rain on balance is more likely in the west, the north, but particularly the northwest, and it could still be very warm or hot in the south, the east and maybe central areas too. It's just the question mark is about how quickly that very warm air mass is going to be shunted away eastwards, and as it does get pushed away, there is that possibility as ever of thundery downpours developing in places, but most of the models aren't picking up on a strong signal at this stage for a big thundery breakdown. So how do things shape up as we head through the second week? As ever at this range, it's just about the general trends and probabilities. Here's the 16-day GEFS ensemble plot for London. Upper air temperatures across the top. You can see just in the last few days of the first week they're well above the average, but there's a strong signal for them to dip quite sharply. And for much of the second week, the ensemble mean, the thick purple line, is staying close to the thick black line, the 30-year norm. So close to average on the whole. We're losing the signal, which has been quite strong in recent weeks for very warm temperatures. Now, the caveat here is that a number of runs are still showing 850 HPA temperatures to be well above that 30-year norm, so I wouldn't discount that scenario. Also, we've got dry ground and amounts of rain probably won't be great but before the second week, so even close to average upper air temperatures could produce warmish conditions down at the ground level. And talking about the lack of rain, well, that probably continues to be the case through the second week in this part of the UK at least. There is a signal for there to be some rain. I don't think it will be completely dry, but amounts are likely to be staying small unless thundery downpours come along, but those of course have been very hit and miss. Daytime temperatures on the data table here across the top, maximum daytime temperatures and the nighttime lows here. Once more, it's emphasised the message that the signal is for them to probably be closer to the average than they have been for many of the recent updates, but still maybe climbing into the mid-20s. Some of the runs are showing 26 to 30, which is indicated by the red shading, particularly at the start there, as that plume of warmth may still be hanging around. But also there are some cooler runs in there. The orange shows forecast maximums of 16 to 20. So I think on balance of 21 to 25 is being signalled strongly through the day. So pleasantly warm would probably describe it. Nighttime lows, lots of yellow in the column, so 11 to 15 degrees. And for southeastern counties of England, I guess that's fairly comfortable for the time of year. So those of you who've had difficulty sleeping with the hot and humid nights recently, and those to come through the first week of the forecast period, may well welcome this signal for cooler and fresher conditions, at least through the nights. Up to Manchester, very, very similar, but in terms of 850 HPA temperatures on the top half, but there are more spikes along the bottom here, more so a greater signal for rain. It's wetter in the northwest of England, but even so, it doesn't look particularly wet. The spikes here are not very large, so steady rain being signalled rather than heavy downpours, or at least steady rain being possible on some days. 2 metre temperatures, the trends are similar to the tables for London, as is often the case, so it's slightly lower levels, so there's less red in these columns and more orange, and similar amounts of yellow there. So 16 to 20 degrees through the days being favoured. The nighttime lows 11 to 15s, but still a significant amount of light green there, which is between 6 and 10 degrees, so cooler here. Up to Glasgow. Now this one's quite interesting because there is a signal for upper air temperatures to be a little bit below the norm. It wasn't shown on the previous two charts, but here it is quite strong. There's a big cluster of runs just around here which are dipping below that thick black line, and it's pulling that cluster is pulling down the ensemble mean. Also, there are more rain spikes, significantly more than there were on the Manchester and London graphs, and one or two of those are big, so possibly some heavy rain here at times, and the chance of rain is ongoing throughout the second week. The 2 metre temperature data tables, well, if you like cool weather, this is clearly the place to head. Fair amount of orange in the columns for 16s to 20s, but it's the yellows which are dominating through the days, 11 to 15, and look at the nighttime lows, lots of light green, 6 to 10, also a significant amount of dark green which indicates minimums of between 1 and 5 degrees. So this is a place to go if you struggle to sleep in the hot and humid and stuffy conditions of the southeast. Rainfall for week 2. The ECM ensemble probability charts here show the chance of 5 millimetres or more of rain falling on the first 3 days. You can see the greatest chances in Western Scotland, maybe Northern Ireland as well, northwestern England and Wales. The percentage chances vary in between about 30 and 60% in those areas. As you head southwards and southeastwards, the chance drops significantly to between 0 and 15 or 0 and 20%. In the following 3 days, it's the same pattern which persists. By this time, though, the ensemble spread starts to increase because we're looking further ahead. So the shading isn't as well defined, but the same general trends are shown. The mean surface level pressure for data table for York, going through the second week, suggests that pressure is likely to be between 1,011 to 1,025 millibars. That's what the bulk of the runs in the GEFS are forecasting. There are some which are going for strongly dominated high pressure scenarios, but they're in a minority. The other thing here of note could be that later on the amount of green in these columns starts to increase. Those are runs going for low pressure dominated scenarios. But all in all, probably close to or maybe a little bit above the average pressure for the time of year. And with it being centred to the south, the anomaly is going to be, the influence of high pressure is going to be greater to areas to the south of York and weaker in areas to the north of York. So it's a south to north pattern which is being signalled. The GEFS mean surface level pressure chart for Friday the 4th of July reinforces the message. It's got the high pressure centred over the Azores, building northeastwards at times. Remember, this is generated by averaging out all of the individual runs within the ensemble. So high pressure likely to be having more influence across the south, maybe central areas too, with the Atlantic flow persisting there in the north and the northwest. But one thing I noticed, and I've brought up a chart to illustrate it, is that quite a few of the individual runs are a little bit like this, with the high pressure building to the west and to the north of the UK, which allows a cooler flow to spread southwards, a cooler north or northwesterly flow. And that's probably why on the upper air temperature graphs, you saw the anomaly there in the north of the UK being a negative one, and even in the south, even on the London graph, those 850 HPA temperatures were averaging out at close to the norm through the second week. And that's because quite a lot of the runs are doing this type of thing, building high pressure to the west. But the ECM ensemble model looks a little bit different. It has a stronger signal for the Azores high pressure to be building northeastwards across the UK. You can see the 1,020 millibar line is reaching Northern Ireland and southern Scotland at this point. So it's also Friday the 4th of July. And it would suggest probably a stronger signal for dry and warm conditions in the southern half of the UK at least than the GEFS was indicating. So to summarise, week 1, changeable to begin with, but wettest in the north. Amounts of rain in the south probably remaining quite small, although there is that chance of heavy showers in the southeastern corner, maybe East Anglia too. As the weekend approaches, warm air starts to spread northwards, and it could well become hot in southern Britain. Temperatures challenging 30 Celsius once again. But it may well remain more mixed in the northwest, and there is some uncertainty about how robust that area of high pressure is going to be, leading to a chance of further showers even in the southern half of the United Kingdom. And then by the end of the week, perhaps more mixed generally. Week 2, temperatures trend closer to the average, but very warm spells are still possible in central and eastern England. Wettest in the north, rain amounts probably stay small in the south and the east. So, there we have it. Another spell of very warm or hot weather appears to be on the way, at least in southern and central parts of the UK. But through the second week, the signal for temperatures is for them to be closer to the average. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. As ever, then, if you did, please consider hitting the like button below. Also, subscribing to the channel if you've not done so already, because in that way you'll not miss any of my future updates. Don't forget as well to stay up to date with the day-to-day developments by checking out the TheWeatherOutlook.com website. Thanks very much now. Bye.